With the ongoing scandal among the current batch of royals, it's easy to forget that there was a whole crowd of firm members at the center of drama well before Prince William and Prince Harry's infamous feud. One of the most trailblazing members of the royal family was Queen Elizabeth's younger sister Princess Margaret. The wild princess was known for living life in the fast lane, getting the first royal divorce in centuries, and consistently doing things her own way. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. Though she lived life largely on her own terms, Margaret's later years were mired by personal tragedy, health issues, and overall bad luck. She finally succumbed to ongoing health problems in 2002, dying horrifically close to her mother's death, delivering quite a blow to the royal family, particularly the Queen, who lost a mother and a sister just weeks apart. Margaret's life did not emerge into a new sense of love and dedication with her newfound romance. In 1974, Margaret allegedly suffered a nervous breakdown due to her failed marriage, reportedly resulting in her family planting a bug in her room to keep tabs on her. After seeking help for depression, multiple reports surfaced that the princess attempted suicide. "I was so exhausted because of everything that all I wanted to do was sleep," Margaret said. "And I did, right through to the following afternoon." When Princess Margaret suffered her reported nervous breakdown in 1974, things sadly didn't improve. By 1976, the princess found herself at the center of a royal marriage gone wrong, and she and Anthony Armstrong-Jones officially pulled the plug on their union, via biography. Though she was photographed having an affair and her marriage was reportedly fraught with tension, divorce in the royal family was not nearly as common in her day. This was years before 3 out of 4 of Queen Elizabeth's children divorced their spouses. As such, Margaret's health reportedly took a significant turn, not only resulting in the aforementioned nervous breakdown but illnesses that landed her in the hands of medical professionals. Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret were born to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and King George VI, who famously took the throne after his brother abdicated in 1936. By 1951, the king's health had declined in part due to his smoking. That same year he underwent a lung operation that not only determined he had lung cancer but had spread to his left and right lungs. By February 1952, the king died at the age of 56. This did not deter his daughter Margaret from picking up the habit herself, however. The princess was known for smoking Chesterfield cigarettes and often paired them with a whiskey or gin beverage. Due in part to her unhealthy habits, Margaret developed laryngitis, pneumonia, and bronchitis throughout her life, but it was her 1985 operation that truly had people drawing stark comparisons. After 3 weeks at her Caribbean property on the island of Mustaki, Margaret was enjoying a meal with friends when she first started feeling off. The princess made it known that her head was starting to hurt. Her headaches were followed by dizziness, and then by pains in her chest. She was transported to a hospital in nearby Barbados to get the all-clear to fly back to England. Margaret experienced a mild stroke and gave up smoking for a time. She appeared in rather good spirits when she was spotted leaving the hospital, walking to the car on her own but refusing to comment to clamoring reporters. Margaret was back at her holiday home in Mustaki just a year following her stroke when she seriously scalded her feet getting into a hot bath. The news was confirmed by a palace spokesperson who told the press she was seen by a local doctor in Mustaki, and came back to London a week after the accident. She is now recuperating at Windsor, but these things do take some time to heal. Adding that the princess was staying positive amid the accident, the palace spokesperson further noted that Margaret was being aided by a nurse during her recovery. The accident left Margaret unable to walk for a period of time, and questions about the incident and what truly happened have remained unanswered. Princess Margaret suffered her first stroke in 1998, scalded her feet in 1999, and by January 2001, she suffered yet another stroke. At the time, Margaret was transported once again to King Edward VII Hospital after she stopped eating. Her lack of appetite was connected to a possible second stroke, and she remained at the hospital for observation. Speaking to the BBC after visiting his aunt, then Prince Charles told reporters that despite the health scare, Margaret was making daily improvements and had even started eating meals here and there. "It was rather a sight to behold," As Charles had his arm in a sling after fracturing his shoulder, the royals certainly looked like they were worse for wear. In the last years of her life, Princess Margaret did not radiate the same kind of energy that she was so often known for, the life of the party and the most brilliant host of high society. Instead, she was rarely spotted in public, relied on the use of a wheelchair, and clearly suffered at the hands of her vices: smoking, heavy drinking, and of course multiple strokes with varying degrees of severity. But in early 2002, about 11 months after the stroke that resulted in ongoing care and a possibly reclusive lifestyle, the princess suffered yet another stroke, this time with very little room for the royals to cover up its seriousness. At just 71 years old, Margaret's life had caught up to her, from cancer scares and mental health issues to the stroke that left her partially paralyzed on the left side. The princess suffered immensely toward the end of her life. In the immediate aftermath of her death, Margaret was mourned by those near and far, with then Prime Minister Tony Blair, who was in West Africa at the time, releasing a statement mourning the loss. Tragically, Margaret's mother, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, would die just weeks after, on March 30, 2002, with her reigning daughter at her side. To say that 2002 ushered in a horrific few weeks for the royal family is a serious understatement. Though Princess Margaret's vices, notably cigarettes and alcohol, were the worst-kept secrets in Britain, her detrimental health habits were largely kept out of statements mourning her death. Oddly enough, one of the only tributes that actually acknowledged Margaret's declining health and nodded to the cigarettes and alcohol that contributed to her decline was offered by then Prince Charles, indicating that his aunt's passing was a long time coming. Though he didn't explicitly mention her substance use, Charles did dance around the issue. "My darling aunt had such a dreadful time in the last few years with this illness. It was hard for her, let alone her, to bear it, but all of us as well, particularly as she had such a wonderfully free spirit," he said at the time. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.